Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today we're talking about something that I've been seeing more and more online. It's people calling their stuffed animals stuffed service dogs, or SSDs. And we need to clear this up, because not only is that incorrect, it actually takes away from what real service dogs do. So let's get into this right away. A stuffed animal cannot be a service animal legally, functionally, or ethically. But it can, however, still be important, and we'll get into that too. So here's what the ADA actually says about it. So let's start with the law, because this part is not opinion. According to the Americans with Disabilities Act, a service animal is a dog that, and I quote, a dog that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for a person with a disability. Sometimes miniature horses qualify too, but that's rare. And this is a key part. Sorry. And the key part here is trained tasks. We're talking about things like guiding someone who is blind, alerting to seizures, reminding someone to take medication, interrupting panic attacks, pulling a wheelchair. These are active, trained behaviors that directly help with a disability, and the ADA is very clear about this. Animals whose only role is comfort or emotional support do not qualify as service animals. And then, here's why stuffed animals do not qualify. So let's apply to that definition that I just read. A stuffed animal cannot be trained, cannot perform tasks, and it cannot respond to a handler's needs in real time. So right away, it fails the basic requirement, even if it brings comfort, and that's valid, and that's what ESSAs do. They're for comfort and emotional support. But for this, stuffed animals cannot be trained to do work. They are stuffed animals. They're inanimate objects. So calling stuffed animals SSDs, stuffed service dogs, just does not hold up. Now here is an emotional support animal versus reality. Some people try to say that, okay, then it's an emotional support animal. But even that doesn't really apply. Here's why. The labels service animal and emotional support animal exist to give live animals legal access to space where pets normally are not allowed. Stuffed animals don't need that. No one is going to deny you entry somewhere because you're holding a plushie. So there's no legal reason to classify it at all, just like you wouldn't register a child's blanket as an ESA. Okay, so I now want to add something from my own perspective, especially because I'm someone who wants to go into veterinary medicine. I'm actually pretty cautious when it comes to service dogs for mental health. Not because they're bad, but because I've seen what happens when they're handled incorrectly. Dogs are extremely sensitive to human emotion. If someone is constantly anxious, overwhelmed, or dysregulated, the energy transfers to the dog. And if the dog isn't properly trained or matched to that person, it can lead to chronic stress, burnout, and/or behavioral issues. That said, there are service dogs who absolutely thrive in their roles and generally improve their handler's life. But it takes the right dog, the right training, and the right environment. Which is exactly why it's kind of wild to compare the level of responsibility and training to a stuffed animal. Because stuffed animals cannot be trained to task. They are stuffed animals. They can only be used for emotional support. Okay, but let me be clear about something. Comfort items, such as stuffed animals, are valid. If a stuffed animal helps you regulate, feel safe, or get through hard moments, that's real. That matters. But we don't need to label it as a service animal to justify that. Emotional support stuffed animal is perfect. You can just call it an ESSA. You're allowed to have comfort items without turning it into a legal or medical classification. And just to be clear, making this video is not ableist. Calling out misinformation isn't the same as attacking disabled people. In fact, this is about protecting the meaning of real service animals and respecting the people who truly depend on them. And if someone agrees with me and says the same thing, just worded differently, that doesn't make them ableist either. It means they understand the difference between comfort items and working animals. So here's the takeaway. Service animals are highly trained working animals. Stuffed animals are comfort objects. Both can be important, but they are not the same thing, and treating them like they are can cause confusion and harm for people who rely on real service animals. So if you found this helpful or learned something new, feel free to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you next time.